Onion runaway.
That's so good. That is so good.
Let's go take a
I mean,
bite
the
of that
chicken's
chicken.
perfect. I mean, just perfect. The perfect tenderness.
Super moist. Damn. Oh. Oh my gosh. Get out of here. Not literally. Welcome to Radiant Conversation. This is Joe. I'm Joe, and this is my wife, Shaun, and we are joined by a world-renowned chef, and this is Chef Glenn. He's also a great friend of ours, and he owns an amazing restaurant, and we are in Indiana. For those you watching, Indiana's became very about conventions, and a lot of people come into town. So your restaurant is called Flatiron on Penn.
Correct. And it's located down on the north side of downtown Indianapolis, right across from the War Memorial Plaza.
It is a really cool, swanky restaurant.
I will definitely say the best restaurant in Indy. If you want the best food, the best quality, the best service, everything, atmosphere, this place is incredible.
I love
My
it.
top pick
Yeah.
always.
All right, with that said, let's talk a little bit about your restaurant. Well, let's go in over your menu, what you have. I know you're a full-scale restaurant and upscale. Let's start with your, I know you serve bread, then you serve your best selling salad. Let's go from there into maybe your entrees that are your best selling, and talk a little bit about those so people know what they can expect when they come in to visit.
So the way we describe it is kind of like a premium casual experience in that.
So accurate.
The way I describe the food, it's at the crossroad, as I describe as new rural and new urban cuisine. When I say new rural, I mean farm to table. But it's not your grandma's farm to table. We take the ingredients that grandma would serve, and then we would turn around and present them in a way that's more contemporary and then accents the beauty of those ingredients. And then in the preparations, we go back to traditional just cooking methods in the way that we handle foods and stuff like that.
And your food is outstanding. Everything is so fresh.
Just a testimony. I'm a pretty picky eater, if you've not heard in the podcast or in the shows before when Joe cooks for me. And so I was very nervous. His salmon looked amazing every time I saw it served when I was at the restaurant. And so Chef Glenn taught me how to eat salmon. And now I love salmon, thanks to him, because he taught me how to do the flavors and all that. So thank you so much for that.
We don't do salmon at home anymore because I'm only a mile and a half from his restaurant. So why should I do that?
All right.
So what is next? You got your bread, and then based on your salad, what is your number one selling salad that you have?
It really goes back to our flat iron chopped salad or one of our earth bowls. So an earth bowl for me is taking kind of the best of the fresh farm ingredients. And when I say that, I mean the lettuces in that, because we're talking salad right now. So you have those salads. And then in order to make a salad complete so that we have all the essential I would say amino acids and foods and all of that, you have to add some type of grains or some type of proteins to it. So mine is always has some type of quinoa blend. So quinoa came on the scene, 10, 15 years ago, and now we've embraced it as a lexicon in everything we kind of do, whether you do put it in granola or whatever you have to do. So we do a quinoa brown rice medley that we put into the salad. So again, you've got a complete meal when you sit down to enjoy it. So the earth bowl, I would say the chicken and veggie earth bowl.
Yes.
And again,
so delicious.
Amazing.
So original too.
Yeah.
I had never before I came to your restaurant heard of anything like it. And they're really good. But with that being said, don't you have something for the little pets in the house too?
Yeah, so we do puppy bowls.
Yeah.
And
our dogs crave them.
Yes.
They love them.
yeah, and with the puppy bowls, I wish I had have pushed it out a lot sooner and been a lot stronger about what's doing, because a lot of the things, and I don't know if we need to market anyone else, but like what Fresh Pet is the one that initially comes to mind, what they're doing with it. But the Earth Bowl, when I prepare it, the first thing I do is tell the pet owner to try it.
Yeah, it is true.
Yes.
He
So
wanted me to
that
try what I'm thinking was dog food. I'm like, I don't want to try dog food, but it's
No,
awesome.
and it's a mixture of those ancient grains, and from everything that's marketed right now, again, it's a clean protein for the animal. That's again the fillet tips or the ground beef or the chicken that I would serve you, it's the same thing that goes into the puppy bowls, and then with the ancient grains, and then the vegetables and everything.
In case you can't hear, we have a new puppy called Cavalli, and I think he hears us talking about puppy bowls. Because
Yes.
I'm not sure he's not going to take down the gate that's blocking him from in here.
I have food. But he knows there's food in here, so.
All right, so let's move on to appetizers. I know my favorite appetizer. What is your number one seller in your
In the appetizer section, it's probably our fried cauliflower that we do.
Really?
Yeah, and so
It is delicious. I don't mean that like really, but
Yeah, and if you're on our website, you can see it and everything, but it's breaded with rice flour. And then it's deep fried, and then I do this pesto aioli that we serve it with, and then with some of our famous roasted tomatoes that we do, and we just put it out there, and it's just clean and it's fun. And people enjoy, and it's wonderful to be shared.
It is delicious.
I'm throwing a pitch for my favorite appetizer, though. And I know you've got to know what my favorite appetizer is. I think I get it every time. Your chips that you homemade,
Yes.
and your queso,
So,
which
yeah.
is like over the top
Correct.
delicious. Like it's so good.
Yeah. So that one, to me, I say that's the kind of our gateway app into everything like that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of expected that you would enjoy it and stuff like that. So it didn't just jump out at me.
Yeah.
But again, it kind of embodies my philosophy about food. Keep it clean, keep it neat. It's just potatoes. I like to do a Burbank russet. And you just slice it real thin, fry them up crisp, and then serve it with the queso sauce.
They are so
And
good.
I
mean,
don't even
they're
eat chips like that,
craveable.
and I will eat your chips because they
Yes.
are delicious. They are.
Craveable. Well,
They are.
now
They
that's
are.
the best word you can say on
It's
those,
kind of you can't just
craveable.
have one.
Yes.
You got to have more than one.
Now, moving on, we move, I guess, into entrees. What is the number one seller with your entree?
On the entrees, it kind of goes back and forth between the steak and plants and then the pan roasted salmon.
Steak and plants. Can you explain that just as that?
Yeah, so
Obviously,
it's
steak.
really just to me, it's really a beautiful example of that crossroads between new rural and new urban cuisine. Because again, you got basic fillet tips on a bed of beautiful seasonal vegetables, and then with some roasted potatoes under there. So you got your meat and potatoes, but again, you know you're being good because again, you've got your vegetable combination. And what I try and do, and I think the philosophy with food nowadays is that you ought to have 2 vegetables to 1 starch. And so that dish embodies that concept of having 2 vegetables to 1 starch, and then limit the amount of kind of raw protein you have coming in. But again, we need the protein depending on your dietary restrictions you
The way you
have.
cook your steaks is, again, outstanding. I know I sound like a super fan, but I really am, and I think you know that. So I think I know what you're going to pick for the next one, but what is your top dessert?
The top dessert is our espresso torte. Again, I really consider myself on the culinary side of things, but early on in my career, this dessert is really one of the main items that put me on the map with what I was doing with food and everything. And every chocolate competition and everything, it won gold medals every time, even to the point where I was not even allowed to enter anymore because they kept winning.
So just a brief summation. I don't think we went into the restaurant a little bit, but give us a little background on you, your history of how you got into becoming a chef and your
Good
passion.
question, Shaun.
Yeah, well, fresh out of high school or in high school, again, looking for a summer job. I've got a job actually in a hotel, and I was in the dish tank. And as I looked around, and my philosophy about myself is that no, I'm going to be in the forefront of whatever I'm doing. So I started prep cooking and all of that, and I moved forward with that. And then I started my career in downtown Chicago, and so with that, I started with what used to be the Bowling's Restaurant Group, and so I worked in 3 of their 4 different sites they had in downtown Chicago. The first one was in the Chicago Title and Trust building that was right next to the Valley American Bank down there. And then from there, I met a gentleman. He actually worked for ABC News, and his name was Ron Miller. He was one of the major correspondents during the Vietnam War. And he's like, I'm open a place in southwestern lower Michigan, right over the border from Indiana, and it was in Union Pier, Michigan, and it was called Miller's Country House. And so I went in with them, opened it up, and the rest was kind of history for me because from there I was interviewed in the New Yorker magazine and that, and
He's
they
world
called
renowned,
that area
world
of the
renowned.
Midwest as one of the like the Riviera of the Midwest, and it's a really beautiful community and everything.
And I know, because I know you personally, you teach.
Yes.
As also in all the free time you have, you're
Yes.
also teaching.
Yeah, I've taken part in all the culinary schools here in Indianapolis. I would say two of my biggest feathers in my cap was when Ivy Tech was building a new campus in South Bend. Our chef association, convinced them to put in a culinary program there, and so we got all the equipment either donated or we did fundraisers and we totally outfitted the program and then helped put together the program and then had oversight with it. And then in 2012, I took 6 students on the full culinary scholarship to Erfurt, Germany, to the Culinary Olympics.
Wow.
And then they
I
got
know
a
that.
post tour in France, and they got to eat in Michelin star restaurants and so forth like that. So
Wow. That is
those are the 2
incredible,
big things that I
incredible.
said that really meant a lot to me, because after I did all the things I did with competition in that, I said again, it's got to be about the student and the next generation of chefs coming along.
And you're doing that. You
Yes.
are doing that. So what brought you to Indiana then from Chicago?
Well, so in my travels when I was in Union Pier, Michigan, I actually hosted a dinner for chefs at the restaurant, and there was a chef that came to the dinner, and it was with our chef association, and he said it was one of the best meals and most sublime meals he ever had in his life.
Wow.
And so he actually got the position at the general manager at the Summit Club that was downtown South Bend, and he talked to me and convinced me to come on board with him. Spent roughly 5.5 years with him. Then from there, I went to Morris Park Country Club there in South Bend. Spent about 4 years there. And then again, looking for a bigger mecca to do what I do, I ended up here in Indianapolis at the Country Club of Indianapolis.
Yep. Everybody
And-
knows him from there. Too.
Yeah, and I spent roughly 22 years there, and they were just really good to me. And then after that tour, again, I was like, it's time to do my own thing. And so we jumped out and did it, me and my wife.
And you've done an amazing job with
Yes.
it and very, very successful.
I'm going to recommend we take just a quick break, a little commercial break here. Mama's boy that's scratching at the wall.
gonna get
back
him
there,
taken care
we
of.
better go get him settled down. So we
Yes.
not
Or maybe give him a bite to eat.
Yeah, yes,
Yes, exactly.
Because he just wants
Stick with
food.
us. We'll be right back with Chef Glenn from Flatiron on Penn in Indianapolis, Indiana. Thanks so much. Hi, I'm Joseph, and this is my wife, Shaun. Together, we have trained thousands of hairstylists, showing them how to do flawless, customized haircuts that'll make your clients unstoppable.
Our secret? It's about tailoring every haircut to the client's unique head shape. With our foundation haircuts, you'll learn the techniques that set you apart as a stylist. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Secret 7's video series will transform the way you cut hair.
We poured years of experience into these videos, showing you how to customize cuts for every client, every time.
We worked really hard to create from classic to cutting edge. You'll learn the foundations that make every haircut a masterpiece. Join the thousands of stylists who have grown their income with Joseph and Shaun's education. Visit our website to unlock the Foundation Haircuts video series today. And remember, be the best you can be.
Well, we're back with the fantastic cookings or chefery of Chef Glenn.
Chefery, I like that word.
Awesome.
So let's get back into, I know I kind of threw off with a few questions there, but let's get back into what we're here for.
Yeah, so I always say a great meal, the beginning of it, of course, starts with a great bottle of wine. But if without the wine, past that, then the first thing that we look forward to is what's happening with the bread. And the latest craze with everything is everyone making their own version of sourdough, which I think is one of the greatest things that's out there. Because at the restaurant, we do a European version of a sourdough instead of a San Francisco, because we just don't have the environment, or what I like to say when I talk about bread, I do the same as what you do with wine and talk about the terroir, about what's going on and what's happening and everything like that.
Your bread's on another level, and I think it's where you have your starter.
Correct.
That too it's on another level.
Yeah, because some of the starters you make out there kind of like the words of wisdom with it, whichever one you buy. You want one that's at least about 3 years old. The one that we serve at the restaurant is getting close to almost 20 years old.
Oh, wow.
I started it when I was at the country
It has
club.
soaked up those flavors.
And
yes.
I can say when you're making bread, just know the first loaves or whatever have you are going to be, I wouldn't say a disaster, but it's going to make you take time with it and so forth. And I put bread making in the same box with gardening. So you've got to plant that seed a little bit, and you got to let it grow. And the way you let it grow with bread making is getting back in there each and every time, because one day you'll have a great loaf, and then the next day you'll have a loaf that you'd be like, I'm not getting anyone this.
Yeah.
But with the sourdough, the key thing is just 2 ingredients, and that's flour and water.
I've tried flour dough at home. For me, it is probably the most popular bread going, but I am just not good with. I'm like, oh, I forgot to get the starter hit today. So,
well, what I say is, I would say is, don't be so concerned about every morning.
that's
Give
where I
yourself a 6 to 8 hour window when you feed it.
Okay.
And as long as you do that and you be religious about that, it's going to be okay, and so forth like that.
You killed yours.
So that's the thing of it. And then the other thing that I highly recommend is through your first couple and as you're building it, is find a good organic yeast, a fresh yeast.
Okay.
And then just every now and again, I would say every 3 to 6 months, I like to add a little bit of that culture into it, and that just like perks everything up and so forth.
These are amazing tips.
Yeah, but you know how much of a purist you are, you can do this, but I will tell you as a novice, I had to add some yeast to it, and so I just found a nice organic one, local. So again, we're looking at doing an artisan bread and so forth, and so when we're doing that, we want to kind of look at local ingredients and so forth like that. So with the flour, when you look at it, again, most recipes are going to start out with roughly about 60 grams, which is slightly less than a cup.
Having one of those scales really does, and they're not very expensive.
No.
But it makes a big difference.
Yes, and I would highly recommend when you're doing it, switch over to the metric system.
Okay.
It gives you the consistency that you're looking for and so forth like that. And when you're doing it, I've got a little bit more than what you would have in here, but it's going to always weigh out about twice the flour to the amount of liquid you get, because the density or the weight of water is a lot heavier than flour. And we want to, when we're starting out, we're looking at keeping both of those equal through the whole feeding process.
Okay, yeah.
Like that. And so then basically what you want to do is then just take your flour, and it's something that
So right now you're creating a starter.
Yeah, I'm creating a starter for you. And then you can just kind of put that in it with the water. And then you just want to just start mixing it until you get a dough to form. And then the best tool that they're putting out there for you right now is a mason jar. Now for me, when I'm doing this, I like it a little wetter. So again, I go a little bit more. But again, we always say formulas, and when we're making our doughs as you get going, we go to the baker's percentage. The baker's percentage tells you with baking, everything is a percentage of the flour. And most bread doughs, you're in between 68 to 72% hydration or amount of liquid that you put into it.
So this looks actually pretty wet, so it's going to
Yes.
look pretty wet. Okay.
And it's going to build over time. And again, this will come together the more you work it, and then it'll actually form a dough. And so this is, once you have that together, I like to put it into a mason jar and then put cheesecloth on it.
Okay.
Because again, the cheesecloth
The
will
cheesecloth and a lid.
The lid, I'm not so much worried about.
Okay.
But what I want to do is make sure it's in a warm, moist area without a draft.
Okay.
Normally, most of the times, I will say that little space above your refrigerator is probably the most ideal. But if you got a vent by it, you want to take the vent away because, again, you'll get that airflow. And then putting the lid on it, that's totally fine and everything. But I like the natural air. And the reason why I say that, because, again, I'm talking about the terroir. And, again, I want all the yeast that's floating in the air and so forth. Like with the bread we have at the restaurant, I took the mother, I brought it in, I took it into the beer cooler first.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
and
good.
took it downstairs, and I fed it for a week because, you know, that's got over 60 years. Obviously, maybe that might be pushing a little bit, but I'm thinking maybe
close.
it is.
It's close.
Of tapping kegs. And so
Oh, yeah.
all the beer that's been in there and all the microbes living, dying, and feeding from in there, that's again
So
a
that
beautiful
gives you
environment.
the twang, that kind of kink, that twang. That's
Yeah.
undeniable.
But
It's so
then
good.
that wasn't enough for me. Then from there, I brought it upstairs again because the elbow room, you know, and it's probably a sad thing to say, but I'll say it. But all the years of smoking and everything that's been in there, because the building was built in 1897, and the second part of it was built in 1903. So again, you've got all of that, and so I wanted to bring that into that loaf and everything. And to me, that was the love and all of those things. And so then I brought it from there, and then we started making the bread that we serve every day.
Now, at home, if someone, they start here,
Correct.
but they want to get a little bit of a twang, how can they do that at home? They don't have the,
It's basically keeping the temperature at about, if I remember correctly, it's about 78 degrees.
okay,
Hotter
Where
than
you're
that,
storing it.
Where you're storing it.
Okay.
If you have it hotter than that, it'll still lift, but it'll kind of how to get it. It'll become hyperactive and so forth. So then you have to feed a little bit more readily. But at 78 degrees, you just keep it in this nice, beautiful kind of like Stacy's, that it just beautiful growing and it doesn't grow too fast and all of that.
so you then you've had a starter. I'm
Correct.
assuming this is,
And this is a finished product,
Okay.
what we have here.
Great.
So again, we've put that in, we've aged it for 7 days and fed it and so forth like that.
this is
And,
7 days of aging.
yeah, and then what we do is we'll just take it, and again, you can just take and you just,
It looks like you're working towards this.
yes, what we
bread down
have over
here.
there. So again,
Kind of
this,
giving it more of a focaccia.
yeah.
then.
So more than focaccia, so early on in my career in downtown Chicago, it wasn't a big thing about focaccia. We knew it was out there. We were taught that in culinary school. But the big thing in the restaurants I were in part of, and we bought our breads from an old Italian bakery, they made tomato bread. And with tomato bread, all it was what you see here with roasted tomatoes and then just a little bit of parm. And so that was your choice between the traditional baguette or you got the tomato bread when it's served. And then
delicious.
we've kind of glorified the focaccia from there.
You may have noticed the fat guy moves into position myself right here. When we start cutting into it, I'm in it.
Yeah, so what we hear is this, and what I'll do is quite a bit of olive oil in there with it, and then as I'm doing the little thing with your fingers in that, a little bit of olive oil on top. And again, when you talked about the wetness of everything, when you're making the tomato bread or even a focaccia, you want a slightly more hydrated dough. So you could take your same sourdough that you're making, and you just want to increase the water content by
Okay.
about roughly
I did not-
about
that's a
one
great tip. I
one
didn't
to
know
2
that.
cups, and it's a little bit softer. But again, you still have that gluten development and that elasticity. And when you got a great loaf of bread, again, you can see that if I had the olive oil on there, it wouldn't be sticking to your
Yeah,
hands.
that
and so
looks
forth.
amazing. Now, you're in a skillet. You
Yeah,
don't you don't cook on the skillet, do you?
Well, no, I don't cook it
Okay.
in the skillet. Normally, it's in a sheet pan or something like that.
Yeah.
But again, to me, another fun thing because again, this is what led the way to Chicago style pizza, the deep
Oh,
dish.
really? I
Oh,
did
wow.
not know
So-
that.
So,
Okay.
so you take what we think of as the focaccia, put it in there, and then you just bake it, and then the skillet bread. It's really all.
So if I'm hearing this correctly, and I'm not a chef or cook, or Joe likes to cook a lot, so basically the starter is the start to any bread.
to any bread.
Any bread, like a
Yes.
bagel, a
That I
focaccia.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
learning
so
something.
I just thought it
like
was just sourdough.
I did too.
well, sourdough is specific, but like with the bagel and everything, we don't. What we do here over the 7 days, we don't mature the dough. So with a traditional bagel, you would make the dough fresh, and the key to the bagel is actually the blanching of the dough in the water, and so forth. That gives you that denseness that you get with a bagel, and then we bake it and finish it.
I'm going to backtrack just 1 second. When you mentioned yeast, when would you add yeast to your starter?
I would probably put a pinch of it, probably in day 4.
Day 4. Okay. Just
Because-
you mean literally like a pinch.
A
of it.
pinch, yeah.
That'll-
With the batches you have here, it's just a pinch, or let's say a teaspoon.
Okay.
And because again, what we're looking for in those first few days is if you're doing the right thing. If you're seeing plenty of bubbles, and that tells you that you've got the great yeast reaction with it and so forth, and you could look on the sides of your mason jar, and if you see a beautiful bubble texture or a webbed kind of texture, you know you got great yeast, so you don't have to do it.
Okay.
And so forth.
That
It's
may be
kind
what
of
you
a
did.
Yeah, I know.
That may be
Yes,
how you
I know.
killed yours.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
kind of a hit or miss with it because sometimes for whatever reason, especially in the winter months, the yeast is still there, but it's harder to develop versus the summer months.
So I'm gonna start another starter.
Correct.
And stay by your phone.
Yes.
You'll see me call and go, oh, what's he want today about the sourdough?
Yeah. And if you keep your house at 60 degrees,
Okay, that's easy for us.
okay, but if you keep it at that temp, that's not good for your starter
Okay.
because your air conditioning pulls the moisture out of the air.
Okay.
And bacteria, which yeast falls into the bacteria category, it needs moisture, heat, and a food source. So again, if you're one that keeps your house really, really cold, so you have done something from a food perspective where you're taking moisture out of that house. So when you take that moisture out, you take one of the essential ingredients that bacteria and molds need to grow.
Okay.
You're keeping it at a lower enough level, and so that's why that refrigerated area is so important because again, you get that nice, warm, moist heat
Yeah.
and so forth.
So in
Makes
front of
sense.
me then is the traditional tomato bread.
Correct.
Okay, and it's got pesto.
Yeah,
Looks
there's
like
a little bit of
definitely
onions and
Parmesan.
tomatoes and that and so forth.
It smells great.
And then, well, why don't you do the honors for us? You can give it a little bit of a try.
I don't mind if I do.
Yeah, please do.
And again, because I'm a healthy person, I typically do not eat bread, but I will eat Chef Glenn's bread because it is always delicious.
Yeah, and the big thing about bread, and again, we're finding our way back to it now, because again, we know that a lot of the breads we buy in stores and different things like that, you know, you can have it for a week and it don't mold or do anything like that. That's you know, it just doesn't work for us. And the dough, the bread that we make, we use an unbleached and an unbromated flour and so forth like that. So again, using an artisan flour, no chemical additives. The flour is naturally aged, and I like to use a bread / high gluten flour. So I'm looking at something that has a protein content of 11% or more. And then what I try and do is to do a little research on the companies and making sure they're grinding up the whole grain, you know, and not just removing all the germ and everything away from it. That's all the nutritional qualities of it and so forth. So again, I feel personally what I would tell you is that that's going to move better through your system and do all the other positive things for your body and your gut because again, it's not laden with all a bunch of chemicals and everything like that.
I got some bad news for you.
Yeah.
This is not leaving with you.
No problem. Enjoy.
We're on a show, so I can't sit and mouth this thing, but it is going to be my lunch.
And it's very good.
All right. Well, let's take another break.
So much information here. So
it
much
is so
information.
good.
Not things that again, I'm not a cook or chef, so I'm learning a lot. So
And
I
when
say,
we come back, we'll jump into entrees. So how's that sound to you? And he can explain to us what we're doing. We'll be right back. Are you planning on putting limitations on us?
No.
Oh, so you're just we're
I
going
am
for
ready
it.
to go.
this is sucking all the knowledge of Randy's brain. No. That way you can run out the door and feel fabulous, even if you don't have a full face of makeup. She is a hoot. Oh my gosh, she was so much fun. She was so much fun, and she just loved it too.
I think she was like a movie star. I think she looked great.
Hello and welcome back to Radiant Conversations. We are here today with Chef Glenn Brown from Flatiron on Penn in Indianapolis, Indiana. Please visit this restaurant. His food's amazing. We're going to move into the entree section of it. When Glenn and I talked, I had told him that our show focuses on kind of women over 40. And when that happens, a lot of empty nesting goes on. And then we were cooking for 5, and there's only you and your husband or you and your spouse or significant other. So what are you going to make for us? And we're going to kind of focus on a dinner for 2.
Correct.
Yeah,
So with this, we're going to just kind of focus in on the classic chicken breast. And again, one of the biggest problems I always see when we're cooking poultry is the concern about it being done and everything like that.
Big
And-
concern of mine.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that you want to pay attention to, if you can really see this breast here, if you look at the chicken breast, one side of it is really thin and the other side is pretty thick. The thing you want to do is just find that nice little meat tenderizer in the kitchen. The way I like to do is we get the chicken breast, and then what I like to do is put it in between 2 pieces of film wrap. And then what we want to do is just lightly just tap that. And our goal is not to make the coveted Indiana pork tenderloin.
Which, if you're don't know what an Indiana pork tenderloin is, you get a bun and then you get a pork tenderloin. It's true. Yeah.
To high heavens.
And what we normally do with that is pound that. And so what we're doing is we're not doing this to tenderize the chicken breast. A chicken breast is naturally tender. If it's not tender, it's because we overcook it.
So you're focusing, it seems like, on the
The
larger
thickest
area,
part
the
of it.
thickest area.
And we want to get it almost to the same thickness that we have here.
And this really, truly is important because I can tell you from cooking experience, you go to cut open that thick side and it's just raw in the middle and the other end's like burnt.
Yeah.
So very, very important to do this.
And again, when you're at home, the other thing is we want to get this to 165 degree internal temperature because again,
That
we
is
want to,
another very important, especially when you're cooking chicken.
yes, because everything that's going on now and the way that we raise the proteins and stuff like that, that is a concern for us. So we want to make sure that happens. So again, I'm going to say what I always like to do, and Shaun, since we haven't done anything, what I'd like you to do is to come over and place your hand on there, and I want you to close your eyes when you place your hand on top of it.
Can I use the mallet on it?
And then I want you to just rub over the top of the chicken breast and see that you feel it about the same thickness from edge to edge.
Yeah. Yes.
And I want you to trust your hands and not your eyes.
Okay.
Because if you're looking at it, you're going to find that micrometer that it's off.
Yes.
And you don't need to worry about that. You just want to touch it. And if it feels about the same thickness, go with it.
Perfect.
I find you're not touching raw chicken. I see
No.
that's not it. You're not touching. home cooks may be touching raw chicken, so
Correct.
it's probably safety matters. Wash your hands a lot throughout.
Yes, 100%.
And
Because
then
again,
if I touch my turning on the water, I need to wash that down.
correct, because
everything.
we don't
Yeah.
want that cross contamination happening.
Yeah. How'd that happen?
Anything that's going to go directly into the chicken. As you see, I have my vegetables out here. I've got them in a separate container. But if you're going to cook everything within 5 minutes and it's right here when you're pounding the chicken, I don't worry about that because it's going immediately into the pan. And so my pan, in order to get hot, in order for me to get some browning on the chicken, we know the Maillard reaction happens at 325 degrees. So anything that comes into contact with that pan is at 325 degrees or higher, and salmonella doesn't like it above 165.
Oh, perfect. That's
So
great
why we cook
information.
at least 165.
Yes.
Now you're at, what are you
I
adding?
mean,
in?
just a
Oh,
little
oil.
bit of olive oil.
Okay.
And so again, the thing about olive oil, and I removed it from the heat, I want to get it to its smoke point, and you can smell that beautiful fruitiness to it. I want to get the chicken in there immediately, because if you don't, you will burn the oil. And again, it would add a kind of like a
tainted taste.
a tainted taste to your dish
Olive
and
oil
so forth.
can burn fairly easy, can't
Yes,
it?
it has a low smoke point.
And then you put a seasoning on. What
Yes.
seasoning?
So here, I'll again pass this over to Shaun and have her give it a whiff. I like to make my own salts.
Oh.
So
Yeah, that's very
again,
nice.
this one is a smoked paprika.
You saw
And
that
that-
paprika in there.
And again, because when you're preparing chicken, and especially with this dish and even with professional chefs, we're trying to get that beautiful sear on there, but we'll tend to overcook it. So I like to add a little bit of paprika, because as a chef, we're looking for that browning, and that browning is the first step in building flavor.
Oh.
When we
Excellent.
sear a piece of meat, we do not sear it to seal in the juices. That's one of those myths that was out there. When
Eat
you're
like steaks and all that, you're not searing it.
cannot, it's a porous item, you cannot seal it. And that's why if you cook a well done piece of meat, it's dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you seared it ahead of time, it would maintain its moisture. It's all about the cooking. The sear is all about presentation and flavor. That's why we sear a piece of protein.
I
Did not know that. Yeah. We're learning a lot.
Yeah.
Information.
That's why we're doing these podcasts,
So-
because there's so much information that some people may have been misled. So, we're bringing in the big guns, we're bringing in the experts for these things. So, a lot of great information.
And then we're adding a little bit of cauliflower to this dish. It's
You're
one of my
already-
favorites. And the cauliflower, in my opinion, is the same as the protein. Cauliflower is great if it's got a sear or crunch or whatever on it. So I'm building it right now in this dish.
Now, is this raw cauliflower or is this pre-cooked?
It's blanched.
Okay.
You can do it from the raw state, depending on your personal preference. But I like to blanch them just a little bit and then get it pretty dry.
Now, based on, you've got cauliflower, looks like an artichoke, onions, some peppers. Do these take longer? Cauliflower take longer to cook, or you're just trying to
No,
sear 'em?
because in my belief about food in that is that we spend, or the average person, at least I know what my dental bill is, and our vegetables are supposed to have a crunch to it. And so I say you're supposed to cook vegetables until they're al dente so that you can enjoy them and we don't destroy all the vegetable nutrients in it. Also, we need to pay attention to the time right now, because again, you're saying cooking for two, and you don't want an hour, hour and a half in the kitchen cooking and all of that. So we have our vegetables that we've prepared. We've got some fresh tomatoes. We got a little bit of onion. We have a little bit of artichoke. We have some fresh herbs out of the rock garden there at the restaurant.
These look
Yes.
amazing. I know when you come to your restaurant and he's back, he's growing his own herbs out.
Yeah.
Too. So
And so then what I'm looking for when I'm sauteing is, again, the color change that we see on the meat here around the edges. And then we'll give it a nice little turn. And then we've got that beautiful.
So that is not necessarily seared. That is really coming
No.
from the smoked
From the salt and the
paprika.
It's
or-
both.
Okay.
It's both. So
Okay.
The sear comes because the heat is at the right temperature,
Okay.
and you get the browning. But then the paprika gives it that earthiness that you see that's in there.
How does a home cook know that they're at the right temperature?
As far as being done when we're at the
Like
end,
before you've added the meat in and then the oil. How just about a
I don't know if
medium
you
heat?
noticed in the beginning when I had the temperature on. So when we're doing a dish like this, we want it at a medium-high heat.
Okay.
I added the oil in it. And when I added the oil, one thing I did was I lifted it away from the burner
Yeah.
that you probably didn't notice and then added the oil. If I see any smoking whatsoever, I'm going to leave it off the heat for an extended period of time to
Okay.
let that temperature come down.
Okay.
And then I'll return it to the heat.
Wow, it smells delicious already. And we're not even
It looks
done.
delicious.
Yes, yes.
And so again, all we're doing is doing that beautiful sear. Think of the cauliflower as another piece of chicken in there. And so again, if I'm starting to get the browning on there,
Look at that.
then I'm going to flip it to another side. If I'm not getting it, I'm going to leave it alone.
Like grill mark.
Yeah. And again, these flavors are going to be through the roof for us.
I just want to talk to the camera crew and tell them that if they see my tongue hanging out, they can remind me to put it back in.
Just the smells, the aromas that were,
Yes.
even just when we walked up, from the herbs, I could smell those as soon as we walked
Yeah.
up. It's incredible.
And so then once we get to the herbs, we can get as refined as we want to get with it. But I like to do it the same way we do with lettuce. We're going to take just some of the leaves and tear them and drop them in at the end.
Okay. And that'll give it enough flavor.
It'll give it enough flavor. So herbs are always added at the end of cooking, spices in the beginning.
Okay, that's great information.
So what is your inspiration of what inspires you to create a dish or to create what herbs to use?
Well, normally what I do is kind of go to the history. So history is really important to me. And then if I'm doing it, I dive into the history of the region, what it is or whatever have you, and then go from there. Because early on in my career, when I was in downtown Chicago, you couldn't get in a restaurant if you didn't have a European accent. And as I went through and everything, I said kind of pooey on the French
Yeah.
and everything. Because what they really did, in my opinion, is that they took the best of local ingredients and cooked it the best that they could and so forth like that.
We're very close to Chicago, as you know. We love to run up there and grab. It is definitely a foodie city for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And we're starting to make our own statement here in
Absolutely.
in Indianapolis. And I like that.
And you're a core part of that.
Correct.
You're a core reason why that's happening.
And so we're going to have, you got those items in there. So then now, since we're quite, through the cooking process, onions is one of those vegetables we love or we hate. There's this love-hate relationship.
I'm on the love.
Love as well.
But if we see them, we kind of take a step back a little bit. So the good thing about an onion is we want to cook them and we want to get them to the point to what we call their translucent state or that they're clear. Once we get them to that translucent state, it disappears in the dish and all the beauty comes out and everything like that.
So do you get them to translucent or don't?
You do.
You do. Okay.
Yeah, we want them to disappear.
But the dish is getting its flavors from the onions as we.
Correct.
I am just
You're
thrilled.
You're mesmerized.
It's
I'm
like my
watching it.
favorite podcast so far. I love to cook. So, and when I'm at Glenn's restaurant, or Chef Glenn's restaurant, I will always pick his brain. So,
Well, we had invited him and his wife Ro over for Thanksgiving dinner one time, and Joe decided to cook, what was it, like 30 sides?
Yes.
Way too many. I don't know if he's trying to impress Chef Glenn. He goes, I just want all the things that I want to taste for Thanksgiving. It was a little overkill. It was all good, but
I think there was only 19 sides.
it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. We could not eat it all.
But they all were good.
Then
they
I
were all
went into
good.
making cronuts as a dessert, which
Correct.
that was way over the top.
Way over the top.
And so at this point, what I want to do is drop my temperature. I'm going to say to a nice medium heat.
Okay.
And we're just going to let those flavors and everything just start to develop within the dish. This dish is great with whatever your choice of starch is. So if you're in the mood for potatoes, risotto, rice, what I always say when I've got something that's flavorful as this is that I want something that's kind of neutral. So a great mashed potato, fries, risotto, or anything like that works out
Yeah,
really
so it
good.
doesn't overpower your entree.
Yeah.
It's a great.
Well, no, the entree is going to overpower
Yeah.
whatever's
Yes.
with it.
Yeah.
So that's the whole philosophy behind it.
So just a nice balance to the meal.
Yeah. So some flavor boost for you. You can make your own pesto, or whichever one you buy at stores. That again, wherever you're shopping at, you can have that and add a little bit of that to the end of it. Today we're gonna serve it over some ancient grains, and then we're gonna finish it with a little freshly grated Parmesan.
That stuff you buy at the grocery store
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
in the bags.
Yeah.
But again, we want to watch our sear a little bit. So again, we're getting that color
amazing.
development.
Smells so good.
And so now we're going to add some fresh tomatoes out of the garden.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought those were peppers. Oh, okay.
And with tomatoes, I like to reduce the moisture content, excuse me, by about 20 or 30%. And so these have been put in the oven with just a little bit of salt and pepper, and that's it.
For how long did you put them in the oven for?
Anywhere from like 4 to 6 hours,
Oh, wow.
like that, on a real low heat, like on about 200,
Okay.
and then just let them dehydrate some.
Okay.
And then we're going to add a
one
little
my
bit of
favorites.
artichoke.
Artichokes is literally one of my favorites. I get a can and I'll just eat the whole can in one
Yeah.
setting. I love them.
This is so interesting because I know that you have sometimes the tomatoes in with the salmon as well
Yeah.
dish that you make. And it's almost, I kind of assumed you blanched them. So
Yeah.
I did not know. I mean, I love the flavor of them and the taste
Yeah.
of them. I thought, well,
They're-
you just blanched them.
No, they're always oven roasted. That's my go-to when we've got a fresh tomato.
Wow. It is really
And
good.
again, once you reduce that moisture content by 30% or more, you just concentrate those flavors of whatever type of tomato that it is.
And you're preserving the nutrients in it
Correct.
too as well.
Yeah.
Now I see in front of us we have wine that I'm
Correct.
assuming will come with the. What wine are you recommending to go with this particular?
With this one, I'm really gonna go with the red. I always say I'd like for you to choose whatever your favorite is and kind of go with it from there. Again, the cardinal rule with poultry is to go with a white or something like that.
I agree with you though, as far as your palate goes. I'm not a big white wine person. Joe is more of a white wine person than me. So I choose red a lot with my chicken. And I know some of our wine friends that, it's like, you don't just have red with chicken, but I think
Yeah.
it's just your flavor palette.
Yep, exactly.
So I see you're kind of lifting the chicken off and putting it on top of the cauliflower.
Yeah,
You
so-
feel like the chicken's cooked then.
Yeah, and then what I'm going to let is the moisture from the vegetables basically steam it the rest of the way.
Oh, wow. Again, home chefs, home cooks, great information. This is
Yes,
great
very
information.
good.
Again, we get to go to the restaurant and enjoy the food. It's nice to see the heart and the passion that goes into it.
Oh, right. And now you've got a lot. There is your grains. What all else is in that? That looks
So what we
absolutely-
have is a little bit, it's actually what goes in the puppy bowl. A little bit of the quinoa. There's a little bit of brown rice. And then there's a little bit of kale that's mixed into it. And the key to a great, I would say, couple's meal is one pot cookery.
Yes,
If you've been
exactly.
watching,
Yep.
we're cooking everything in one pan.
Absolutely, yes.
And so we're
Very
going to
smart.
just kind of just let that go and just let it finish doing its thing.
And less cleanup,
Let's clean
whole
up
process.
also.
which I'm the cleanup crew, so I like that. When Joe cooks, there's every utensil in the sink Every pan, every lid.
If I'm trying as I go, I forget I have a spoon going, so I can just get another spoon. After I cook a meal, there's like 12 spoons, and they're all dirty.
Yeah, and you can see again, we've got a nice little steam coming off the top of that. So again, while you're cooking, a wonderful
I love
facial
that.
is happening.
That is a great tip. I
Yes.
love that tip.
And again, we want to maintain that level that you're seeing it. So again, we can drop our heat a little bit. And then now this is the opportunity where you have a chance to set the table. You can open a bottle of wine or whatever that you're going to be enjoying with everything. And then again, you can get rid of all of your mise en place, which is all the ingredients we have here.
Now, you're not putting a lid on top of this.
No, it wouldn't hurt, but there's no need
No need.
actually.
Okay, that's fine.
Because again, we've got that beautiful steam. And the thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to trap the moisture in there, because once I do that, then I'm kind of like, well, it's steaming, but then that's kind of like a moist heat cooking method. And as you can see with the onions and everything, I want everything to brown and caramelize. So we've got to get that moisture out of the dish
Okay.
and so forth. And again, again, I want everything to brown or caramelize, and again, bring all those flavors up.
Yeah,
But you can see
so
the colors there and everything like that.
I love the idea of setting the table for a dinner for two. I mean, the kids are out of the house now, and it's time to, just bring a lot of romance, and you got the house free.
Conversation.
You can walk around the house naked finally, so
Have
you can eat this naked.
a no phone zone. No phone zone where you just sit down together, enjoy your meal, discuss your daily events.
Shaun and I have kind of a thing at home. I'll cook. She makes a lot of the salads, and obviously she's really great at martinis. She keeps beating me at those martini recipes.
Okay. So we're at about how many minutes right now?
Where are we at, John? How many?
20
Okay.
minutes in. So now we're ready to plate. So again, we can end this here, Joe, to save us that accident. No, go ahead and leave the plate there. I want you to grab the glass of wine. So.
Okay.
Well,
Well, ladies first.
And again, we're plating our food here.
you grab the glass, I'll grab the bottle.
Oh, he's going to hand me a glass. Oh.
So again,
Look at that. I love presentation too. I just
Yes.
think it's so important.
This wine smells so good.
I'm gonna take a little sip. Cheers. Oh, yes.
and again, with the dish, and even at the Flatiron, I'd like to think about wellness when we come with our food. We have a tablespoon of olive oil. It's the only fat that's been introduced to the dish. You have a 5-ounce chicken breast, and then you have all of your vegetables. So again, you've got a great meal that's gonna that meet quote unquote nutritional guidelines. And then the last thing to spike the flavor, we can either tear the fresh leaves of the herbs and drop them on there.
So this would be basil you put on first,
Yeah.
and then the second is
Fresh thyme.
first time.
Yes.
And
Smell that.
then I always say a little bit of luck is a little bit of fresh sage on there.
There we go.
And then
Wow.
let it go. And then you just sit down and enjoy it with the wine and so forth. And if you wanted a little moisture, then we can come back and just a little bit of the olive oil.
I just feel like olive oil dresses it up, in my
Just a
opinion.
little bit.
It looks delicious.
It
Can you
looks
guys see this? How
absolutely
amazing
delicious.
that looks. It's just beautiful. And your plates are always, the presentation is beautiful. It's
So-
enticing you to want to eat
So
it.
then, Joe, I want you to cut a piece.
All right.
And, and I want you to feed Shaun.
Since you forgot my wine first.
Yes.
I know Shaun's biased. I better cut this in half. I'm gonna get you a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Put you
So
some
I
rice
always
on
say
there.
that when you cut it up, you want to get a little bit of everything on the bite. And then after that, as you're enjoying your wine, you can pick and choose what pieces of everything that you want to eat.
Onion runaway.
That's so good. That is so
Let's
good.
go take a
I mean,
bite
the
of that
chicken's
chicken.
perfect. I mean, just perfect. The perfect tenderness.
Super moist.
Yeah, and then again, you don't need a lot of heavy sauces or anything like that. So, and again,
Oh, wow.
you may not think about it, but this whole dish is gluten free.
Oh,
Wow.
that is great for people
That's
to
great.
know. I didn't know that.
And I'm not a big spice or seasoning or salt, pepper, anything person. So to me, your dishes are always right on, spot on.
With that being said, we want to do some eating, but we first got to take a little break for our sponsors. So we'll be right back with Chef Glenn from Flatiron on Penn.
For more
And
great meal
we
ideas.
got to have a dessert.
If you were to describe yourself as a dance song, which one of these best describes you and your style? Living La Vida Loca, Dancing Queen, or Dancing in the Dark?
Living la vida loca as a Latina.
What you're getting ready to see today is a true Living La Vida Loca experience for Maritza. And if you're not shocked, I don't know what we've done right.
When Joe and Shaun get done with your makeover, what are you expecting? What do you want to get out of it?
I want my hair to be completely different.
Today is get a haircut, get a puppy.
Free makeover.
So you're a puppy?
Puppy with the
People wear the colors that they feel the best in or most complimented in, which is usually their family that they fall in.
I think I look 10 years younger.
And she's going to tap you on the shoulder, and then you'll turn around and you will see the transformation of beautiful Kathy. Well, we're back with Chef Glenn from Flatiron on Penn.
and full entrees.
The bread, the entree was amazing. So now we're into dessert.
Correct, and this is a take on the classic kind of like peaches flambe, and that. So again, if you like the alcohol and you feel comfortable with flambeing it, again, we've got a little brandy there. We can do it with bourbon again. Rum would be awesome with it and so forth.
Now you know you're talking to two hairdressers with a ton of hairspray on.
Yeah.
So we'll be running when you fall.
I'll be back a little bit.
All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is just take some great pound cake. And again, what I want you to think about is a grilled cheese sandwich, or if not grilled cheese, French toast. And what I want to do is just take and just
Oh wow!
spread
Now,
a little
the
bit of butter on there.
Pound cake. Do you make your own pound cake, or do you buy it somewhere, or? And what would you recommend people do at home?
I'm going to say just go ahead and buy it
Purchase
from
it,
your
yeah.
your favorite bakery, or from one of your stores if it's one or brand that you like. It's not necessarily over the top. Again, it's about what your time permits. It's really what it's all about, again, because we're cooking for two, for whatever reason, for you decided for your significant other, I'm preparing dinner this evening, and we want to do the classic 3 courses, and we just want to put something together, and at the end we tend to shy away from it. I say with desserts, I'm a firm believer in it. Enjoy it in moderation, but enjoy it. Because if we're going to take the empty good calories, take the empty good calories and make it worth it. Because the most depressing thing to me is to get a dessert and we're trying to do all these things with it, and it's not even worth the energy, in my opinion, really.
Just always know that you can wake up the next morning and walk that dessert off, or take a jog, or go to the gym. So.
And again, we want
wow,
just like you're making a grilled cheese. And that's all we want to do. Then
Can we show this too? Can I just lift that up? Let the camera see that. That
Look
is
how amazing.
amazing looking.
I could just brown like so quickly.
I know. I wasn't expecting that.
yeah.
And now you're moving on to peaches. And I know when we talked, you had said stone fruit, and the reason you went with stone fruit because they're in season right
It's
now.
in
So what
season
all
right
falls
now.
under the
Plums, peaches, as most of you like your cherries and different things like that. So again, it's just we always just want to enjoy what's in season.
And we're in the summer right now in
the
Indiana,
flavors
so
at a height when they're in season? Am I
Correct.
correct on that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So again, once that's done, you can just take that off and then place it into the dish. Excuse me.
I can tell I'm
And
gonna love this
again,
already.
again, we're just gonna put the fruit in there. And again, just like with the pound cake we just had, all we're going to do is just slightly warm it. And again, you notice I didn't put that much butter onto the bread, but we're using whole butter. Then we're going to go in, and again, we've got about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar.
Okay. I love brown sugar. I love it.
Okay. And then with that, again, I'm going to say probably a tablespoon of butter. Again, Paula Dean is back home. More butter, more butter.
More
right?
butter. Hey, I am a philosopher of can you never really have too much butter? I mean, butter.
you would eat it from the stove.
I actually do eat it from the spoon.
And so we just want a little bit of the moisture to come out of the fruit. And we're just making our sauce there. Then I like to do is just some local honey. Again, a little bit of local
goodness.
honey in
Wow,
there.
look at that.
So we have there.
And I think that's important for every community too, is shop locally as much as you can and support your local, honey and your
Farmers
just
and-
farmers markets and all that.
And then all we want to do is just kind of lightly toss these. And this is pretty much done. So again, if we're going to flambe,
I'm going 2 steps this way because it'll flambe this.
yeah, but it's, again, we don't have the open flame. We don't have anything, but again, we want just that little bit of liquor, and then we're like, oompa.
So the actual flambe, like on a gas stove. at
So
home or
yeah,
something.
so what you would do is you would add the alcohol off, and then lightly turn your skillet to the side.
Yeah.
And again, within, I'm going to say probably 1 to 2 minutes time, the alcohol has been burned away. And then all we want to do is just to swirl this around.
But it does alcohol adds that depth of flavor to
Correct.
to a
We
dessert.
almost
You
made
really
a syrup.
need to have.
Almost
Yes.
made it like a syrup in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, and that's what we want to do is just to get that going. And once you see it bubble like it's doing right now,
Yep.
then we're there. So now our sugar is almost to quote unquote like soft crack stage.
Is this kind of like the same concept as Banana Foster's?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I love Banana Foster's.
But so peaches flambe is a classical dish, and banana foster is another one. But they're all kind of on the same premise in that.
Okay.
Somebody got out.
Oh, yes, they did that, didn't they?
Sound like we have requests for some peaches flambe right there.
Yes.
He's referring to Mr. Cavalli, as we refer to him. He's a 5-month-old puppy, and
Very
he's a
food
5-month-old puppy.
motivated and obsessed. So he knows there's food out here, so it's driving him nuts.
So again,
Look
your
at
your favorite vanilla bean ice cream, if you wanted to go with that.
that. Absolutely.
Yes. All the above for Joe.
I do love this too, though.
And then, or just a little bit of whipped cream on top. Again, just your personal preference.
Whipped cream is not, for those that don't know that, it's not hard to make. You just take some heavy whipping cream and just start beating it.
Yep, and start whipping it
it'll
up.
whip right up to it, to the stiff peak, so to speak.
And again, just that little fresh mint, so that little kiss of love
Yes, look at that.
on top.
Your significant
again-
other is going to love you if you present all this food that has been.
And it
presented
didn't take
here.
that long.
No, not at all.
at
That's
all.
the thing. And again, we're going into the store, we're grabbing, I would say 1 or 2 peaches
Yeah,
or whatever
just
fresh fruit.
Small amount, what you need.
Get the soft one that's really, really ripe and just go with it. Because again, we're cooking for 2, you have that there and you just enjoy it. And it's
Wow.
something really quick and it just takes, I would say it christens the evening for you.
Yes.
It seems like not very expensive. Chicken breasts are fairly inexpensive.
Correct.
The most expensive part is what you want to put into the wine.
Wine,
But
yes, exactly.
vegetables and just like you said, portion size
Correct.
of the
Yes.
vegetables, and I love it. You can eat that bread for the rest of the week with
Or other desserts, you can
other
freeze
desserts.
it and save
you
it.
can freeze it. I did not
Yeah.
know you could freeze. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, perfect.
most definitely.
All
Take a bite,
right.
Joe, and
Let's see what
You
we
know I
think
want
there.
to.
And then what you want to do is get down to that pound cake. So again,
Oh, don't
go-
you worry about that, Glenn. Don't you worry.
yeah, I'll go right for that.
Yeah, because that and a little bit of butter in there. And again, you're maintaining the crispness of the fruit and everything, so it's all just natural, and it's just good eating.
I can't
I didn't
remember if
mean
you
to-
just say that on TV.
Oops. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Get out of here. Not literally.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. I want one of the peaches, but
Yeah.
are you dying to take the fork back, Joe? Here, I'll let John have that.
John, our cameraman, we're going to bring him over here and let him take this. There he is.
So
my gosh.
again, the riper the fruit, the better it is. And again, as you play with this, you'll see you'll probably cut back on the sugar a little bit, maybe a little bit more honey. So again, let's make it fun.
That's
and so
perfect.
However you want to go forward with.
I think once you personalize it.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a great episode. For those of you that are empty nesters, RVers, when you're getting down to maybe one or two left in the household, some great tips on cooking.
Healthy.
And from the world-renowned chef at that. So, Glenn, we can't thank you enough. You've been outstanding.
Outstanding. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
As
Thank you.
always, it's my
Thank you.
pleasure.
If
When
you
you're-
haven't had a chance to get to the restaurant, if you're in Indianapolis or you already live here, please go see Flatiron on Penn, Point on Penn. It is the best restaurant in Indy. He's the best chef, world renowned. So please go visit them. You will not be disappointed.
You know you're going to be in Indiana. We have the 500, we have the Colts, we have
We're becoming the sports capital. We're becoming the
so-
sports
plus
capital.
conventions, we
And
have
the
Comic-Con,
fever.
and the
the
fever.
right?
Yeah,
Racers,
Caitlin,
yes.
she's huge right now.
Yes.
So, all right. With that said, thank you for watching our show, and like we always close out each show.
Be the best you can be. And love you guys.